Live from New York, it's the show that doesn't believe in the Phoenix Suns. It's the second hour of First Things First. Today, is Dallas going to draft a quarterback and start fresh? Well, Nick has a fresh graphic. He updated one of the worst graphics we'd ever seen.
You guys,
it was horrible.
So he acted like it was his idea. Like, guys, how about I run that graphic back? Get back in our good graces. Thank goodness.
You guys, it's like a totally different graphic.
Clowns.
Completely different.
Denver versus Minnesota, first place on the line in a G-Block edition of Must Win. But right now, let me get you caught up to speed. Last night, in an old Kansas City train station filled with too much pollen. How many flowers are you going to put in this place? An elite group of radio hosts, Syracuse alumni, and cash money millionaires fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the most definitive ranking in all of basketball. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for Nick's Tears.
Wild.
Yes?
I gotta say, especially under the circumstances, you are just delivering an all-time performance today. Don't blow it the final half hour, but you are really, this might be your flu game.
Wow.
All right, we now have, we know who's in and out of the play-in playoff officially. We know it. So we have changed the eliminated to just actually eliminated and soon to be eliminated. We don't need any fancy relegated. So let's show that right now. Off the tiers, those 10 teams are officially eliminated, and the Hawks and Bulls, otherwise known as annual play-in participants, soon to be eliminated. Now to the actual tiers, flawed and injured. Listen, it's not these teams' fault, but the Pacers haven't been the same since Tyrese Halliburton got hurt, came back from the injury, hasn't been quite the same guy. The Cavs obviously haven't been the same since Donovan Mitchell got hurt. He's now back. And the Kings, and again, these teams aren't even flawed to begin with, but the injuries, the Kings, Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, you're probably 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th most important players just being done. Nice seasons, but you're cooked. Building block. Knicks, Magic, Pelicans. Let me explain it.
Okay.
I think these are great seasons for all three of these teams. A building block year for all three of these teams. I don't think any of these teams can make round 3. The Knicks were the one team that maybe could have, but now Randall's out for the year. Now that Randall's been a great playoff performer, it feels like you can't. But all three of them could win the championship next year. Assuming they get Giannis, which, hey, it's on the board. It's on the board.
Oh, you don't underplay Grimes.
It's on the board. All right, Bruce is going to like this, or maybe he won't. I'm not sure. Might make me religious. If this Heat team goes on a run, I will officially believe in a higher power. Now, that higher power might be whatever Pat Riley prays to. I'll have to find out. But there is no reason to believe in this Heat team. None. And I have been the biggest proponent of Heat culture. I was the one last year. They've shown no signs of it up to and including last night when they're in double overtime against the Hawks.
Right.
So I don't want to write them off entirely, but there's no piece of evidence I can give you. I watched their final possession against the Hawks last night. Tie game, 17 seconds, get whatever you want. It was a Tyler Hero one-footed heat because they couldn't even get a real shot. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All right. Crapshoot. No idea what you're getting from these teams. No idea. Now, you can get a hot shooter out there living your best life. You also all of a sudden can go home penniless. At their best, they can look great.
Yeah.
And we've seen the Warriors at their best recently. We saw the Clippers when they had the great, 6 weeks?
Yep.
But they also can then just be inexplicably beatable by just about anyone. And because of that, can they be consistent in the postseason for 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, and then 4 weeks, and then 6? No, I don't think you can. Shouldn't be in this position. Too much talent, playing at too high of a level. Obviously, the common thread is the two coaches here, the last two coaches Rob Pelinka picked to coach NBA teams, but set that aside, that these two teams are right now a game apart from each other, fighting to stay out of the 9-10 part of the play-in, even though 4 of your 15 All-NBA team members might be on these two teams. It doesn't make sense, but it's where we're at. Next, hard to totally believe, but for different reasons. For the Thunder, it is simply the youth.
Yep.
For the Timberwolves, it is partially, I guess, my own bias against Gobert's playoff history, but really what is it going to look like once Towns gets back, and how are they going to assimilate come the postseason? And for the Bucks, it's because the last 2 months of games have been on television. And so because of that, it's hard to totally believe. But they're all fighting for the one. Well, Milwaukee's fighting for the 2 or the 3. Mm-hmm. They're fighting for the 1, 2, 3. They have good resumes. They have great talent, but it's hard to totally buy in. Can the finals start now? And by that, I mean this. I think the Sixers would love to be like, you know what? Can we play Boston right now? Dallas, can we play Denver right now? Like, can we just, I don't think either, for Philly, Embiid seems healthy and fresh. For Dallas, they are rolling. Like, I don't know that either of these teams are going to be better in 6 weeks than they are right now, this moment. They certainly, you don't think, would be healthier. And so these two teams, you could make an argument, are the scariest in each conference this very moment if you remove all history from it. And so I'm sure they'd like to get it going immediately. Mr. Consistency, the name says it all, Boston. They've earned the title. For 4 months, they have just been a machine. They win 8 out of 10 games. They get contributions from all over. Tatum's great. Jaylen Brown is great adjacent. Kristaps is playing the best basketball of his career. Drew and Derek White are awesome glue guys. Your guy, Joe Maz, has even stopped trying to block opponents' shots. Well, they have been consistent, great at home, and they clinched the 1 seed so long ago, it feels like they're like Caleb Williams in the draft. Like, we don't even talk about it because it's such a foregone conclusion. Looming over everything.
Yeah.
The only thing that can stop this team, it would seem, is either Jamal Murray's knee or Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast. Have you guys checked that out? My God.
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on there, but come on, man.
What are you doing?
You're in the rotation trying to win your 2nd straight title. But when we're talking about those things, they are the clear-cut favorites. That's this week's edition of the NBA
The crumble
Tears.
cookies were bad.
My goodness gracious.
Not bad, Nick, not bad. But I am going to move the Clippers. In fact, the Clippers should eclipse the Suns.
Oh.
All right, so move the Clippers up to where the Suns switch them.
Okay.
In fact, to be honest, I'd move actually the Warriors and the Clippers up ahead of the Suns. But I'm going to focus on the Clippers. First of all, they own the Suns. They're 3-0 against them this year by an average of 16 points a game. All right, and the 2 biggest wins, once they blew them out by almost 30 points, those 2 biggest wins came with Durant, Beal, and Booker on the court. All right, and I think one of the things, they get physical. We know they got the wing defenders to get physical with the Durant, physical with the Devin Booker in there. They got size against Devin Booker. So I think that's a big part of it. But they also now are starting to play well. They got Westbrook back. Just happens to coincide with their run. They need his energy, man. I get it. He didn't fit with the Lakers, but he is great with them, and his willingness to come off the bench, I think, is huge for their morale. So they've won 7 of their last 8. And those 7 victories have included 5 over playoff teams, including Denver and, of course, Phoenix and Cleveland. Their depth is great. They got good size. Obviously, Ty Lue knows what he's doing. He's a very good coach. Yeah. So I like the Clippers moving up. The only question mark is this: Kawhi. I mean, honestly, I'm starting to wonder. Right, he's missed 5 straight games now. Doesn't look like he's playing tonight.
Historically forthcoming about his injury status.
Well, and that's the thing. Yes. Remember when he had the real serious knee injury? They said it was day to day a couple years ago. So that's one thing that concerns me.
All right, so a lot of what you said there, I totally agree with. But the Kawhi thing looms over all of it because I don't feel like I have any grasp on how significant this is. This right now, they're just being cautious. We're going to be the 4-5 no matter what. Who cares? And be super. Or is this something that is going to potentially, unfortunately, rear its ugly head the way it has for postseasons in the past? Great take on Ty Lue, by the way. I wonder, do you think he ever was interested in coaching the Lakers? I wonder how that would have worked out.
You're really upset about.
I don't think the Lakers are run well. I don't think the Lakers are run well. No, I don't. It's depriving us of a chance to see. He's just a humble agent. He's not running the basketball team. Go ahead.
I'm nothing if not fair. Everybody knows that.
That's what do they call you, Wiles?
They call me the mayor of fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
So even though I believe in Denver, I've got to say the Wolves need a little more respect. They're going into Denver 2-1 against the Nuggets. Yep. They could be 3-1. And everybody, when you're talking about the Suns, or you're talking about the Warriors, or you're talking about the Lakers, one of the arguments is why they're jammed in, 8, 9, 10. What are you going to do? The West is so tough. Oh, my goodness, the gauntlet. If I'm the Wolves, I'm like, yeah, we know, and we're in first place. Can we get some credit? And largely the answer from the media is no, actually, we can't. But then when Cat went down, the media was like, yes, now we're going to see the Wolves. And Anthony Edwards said, actually, no, I will carry this team. Since Cat went down, record tied for fourth. And point differential up. Defensive rating still good. As Brew will tell you, he's been grinding the all-10. The defensive